Well, good morning, YouTube. Today is the Monday, 21st January 2016. It's 7 a.m. here in Ratanakiri, Banlung, Cambodia. So, what is my update? Well, this. This is my update, tetracycline, and this is my update, Dexacol for eyes as well. This is my update, Clezin, and this is my update, Chloropt Steril. These two are antibiotics. This one as well, and this one is one of those things which is making your eyes red less. And I have another one here. This one is eye wash. So, and I missed two kinds of antibiotics. So what happened by the end of the February, I started to feel, it started first about 26th February. I was meditating and I felt like strong pressure here, and I noticed like this blue thing coming on me, and I was like, whoa, are they making attack? Because shortly before that I felt something is going on, like a group Illuminati attack and extra dimensional work on my aura, and that was going on for a while. And then I started to feel pain here and here, and then my eyes swollen, and I went to see a doctor. He gave me antibiotics and this thing, and that helped for a while. But then when antibiotics were over, then started to swell again, and I started to put this cream, which is the standard cream here for eye infections. Eye infections are very common in this area, and there are people who are blind, and there are people who lost sight on one eye, and so on. And then after that, I was taking this cream for a while, and then my manager hooked me up with the Chai, my boss. He hooked me up with the eye doctor, and I couldn't find him on my own. He was not simply in his house. Weird thing, you're entering in the business area and there is absolutely nobody there. Laptop is there, eyeglasses are there, but no man. And so then he gave me these things, antibiotics, and that worked, but the pain was never completely off, and it's like somebody sticking needles here, 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 and then small needles around. And well, I started to take a medicine yesterday. Sorry, I stopped it. I was taking it for a week, and now it's gonna explode again. So it is conjunctivitis. What kind of conjunctivitis? He didn't know, of course. He didn't take any sample and send it to a lab. It is not simply practice here. And that much about it. When I was, when that was happening, and you know, when that started to happen, I received from them impulse, and oddly or no, when I was, well, impulse, this is because you can see, this is a little punishment. Yeah, like pain, really, here and so on. Doctor told me that's weird, that it could be sinuses, but my sinuses are fine, so I think something else is going on. Oh, by the way, when I was checking, right when I was doing this, I found this cool article, The Amazing Connections Between Inca and Egyptian Cultures, and you have like a picture of Inca and Egyptian. Inca has owl popping out of his head, Egyptian has a snake. We know that that means ability to see, right? So when I came to this page here, and which was dealing with, this is all-seeing eye, Egyptian all-seeing eye, right? And this is the Inca all-seeing eye. And when I came to this part, my eye really started to hurt, so I immediately in this project I included trachoma, antibiotic therapy, and facial cleanness, environmental improvement, and medication summary, and azithromycin, and tetracycline ointment. I mean, that really helped me because first doctor was general doctor, not specialist. So um, yeah, coincidences. I was really doing this project. I was making PDF, and then my eye was really hurting me, and then I figured it out. Okay, let's go online and see what I can find about eye infections. So things never stop with me. To make things weirder, all the time I was taking endocannabinoids. I was taking marijuana oil, and I thought that will be some sort of prevention, but it really didn't work. So let's see in a few days what's gonna be. I bet it's gonna swollen, but let us think naively and positively. Another thing, another weird thing is when I was meditating about whole thing about death, blindness, because these infections are leading cause of blindness. And in my region, in Ratanakiri, which is the poorest region of Cambodia, and you probably know that Cambodia is not one of the richest country on this planet, but one of the poorest. So infections and these kind of sufferings are perfectly normal for people here, not for me. The reason is folks, even if they are literate, even if they can write their name down and read something, they still have like very little knowledge about the world, and that includes all areas of the world, like basic geography, which are the neighboring countries, and things like bacteria and viruses. And because out of the ignorance, they simply tolerate the filth, which I was lazy to film, and I think I definitely should, just to visually show you the flattened rats on a street. Right when I was coming to school, I saw one of the stray dogs keeping his paw on one of the red carpet. A rat, how rat looks like a dried and laminated by the multiple cars going over it. And one dog was keeping that red carpet, I call it, with his paw and trying to eat something. So you have this open sewage, you have these fecal waters right by the restaurants, and so on, and flies, of course, everywhere, as they tend to fly from a shit to food to your mouth, to your eyes, and so on. So this idea came to my mind to buy a microscope and simply place it on a market and show people bacteria and just educate them that they do exist, although they don't know about them. There is so much effort here. There is so much, what could be done here to improve people's lives simply by educating them. And because, you simply wouldn't believe the amount of suffering, like, and poverty which is around, and everything what comes from it. You have like repeatedly new generations of teenagers taking ice, crystal meth, not even knowing what's that, what are they buying. Just think about tabula rasa, plus ability to use Nokia C1, plus ability to use scooter. That's pretty much the mental level, and that's sad. So when I was sitting in front of my hotel room on a lazy boy's chair, and flies been flying around me, and I was like thinking, is it possible that I was maybe infected by the fly? Are there many flies here? And then at that moment, one fly just came, landing on my third eye. And okay, that's the that's the answer. And then at that moment, I could really smell the fecal matter somewhere around, probably a little bit open sewage, because sewages are here sometimes closed, but sometimes open, and sometimes non-existent. You see, Banlong is as same as the Taweng is essentially urban slum without the proper infrastructure like a sewage, because whole city started like 20 years ago and really done with cheap materials, with that cement which is falling apart after a couple of years, and so on. So another thing I really want to talk about is, and I apologize if I offend my subscribers of a color, but this is the thing called the white genocide, which is only a sub-program within the depopulation program, and which is of course only part of the racial warfare program done by the system. You know it as the Illuminati, which is of course, in my theory, Illuminati are simply the lowest part of the pyramid, and corporation just continues because it's, in essence, it is simply energy corporation. So there are things I want to talk about, things how system is playing with the human minds, same tactics as in my childhood in the late 80s in Yugoslavia. On one hand, you have all this independent media, different groups on a Facebook like Generation Europe and so on, which gonna report even on the smallest internet evidence of violence from black, brown to white, and they just gonna scream about it. And then you have mainstream media which will, in most of the cases, simply not notice things which are not part of their agenda. They are reporting things, of course, in accordance with their agenda, exactly what they need to produce, like a fake news or a real news. They're just gonna do it, and they're a machine, right? So they're not gonna see like little things like teenager got shot by the Muslim in London, obviously hate crime, or a teenager got stabbed by the Muslim woman in a belly in London. Many things are happening in London these days. It's simply not in the media, and which is worrying, very worrying things which are reminding me on the beginnings of the war in Yugoslavia. Although in Yugoslavia it took far shorter time from these small killings into the full-scale warfare. Here, because it's a big continent, it's like taking far more time between killings here, killings there. Now it comes to my mind killing of that French woman in her 30s. She was running a gym, and she was killed by the Kalashnikov by one of those Arabs who then committed mass murder in the, I think that was December. 130 people killed in the concert hall. So you have like loads of those little killings happening almost on a daily basis, and which makes me very sad. Because when James Casbolt was talking about the race war, was it like 2012, 2013, and he is Illuminati member, and obviously, if you James Casbolt, and kind of a spokesman for them, for a very small niche of people who are watching Project Camelot and Amash project and so on. And he said that we're gonna have a race war, and to me, back then, although that was like 3 or 4 years ago, that sounded like unbelievable, like who we gonna fight with? Come on. But same time, quite plausible, because what Illuminati say, Illuminati do. And now it's coming to that point. And that, this feeling which is rising in me when I was like meditating, and feeling that neither my sight, neither my life are that really important, because this soul was inhabiting so many, it says be grateful, was inhabiting so many different bodies that losing this one is really not a big deal. If in this reptilian energy farm system, we are so not in shortage of the physical bodies. You get one every rebirth and so on. So, but sometimes it's confusing to me, because I have voice of my soul, I have voice of my ego, and I have influences on my ego. And that leads me to another topic. A couple of weeks ago, when I was really enjoying very deep meditation, I woke up around 3 a.m. and because I go to sleep very early, like yesterday I went to bed about 8 p.m. Normally I go to bed between 9 and 10. And I had this beautiful meditation. I was really connected, and I felt like if I almost don't have a physical body, so pleasant, and I was like learning, studying. And then I just realized that the signal, virtually the signal, which is coming from the machine, from virtually multidimensional machine, and that signal was obstructing me on different levels of meditation, and I could feel that signal, like how it's hitting my aura. And then I realized that depending on what kind of spiritual development people are, all of those people, okay, all people behind me, you see on this map, right, figuratively, all these 7-point-something billion people, they all have different frequency of their bio body, of their aura, and thanks to that frequency, they are receiving another frequency, certain programming. I'll come to the point. So, in this metaphysical realm, that frequency is just tuning you and programming you with certain ideas, while on the ground you have reinforcers, and these are again the extensions of the machine. You have Illuminati, and then everything what goes with them, their music, their education, political parties for a specific niche. So let's talk about the specific niche. Let's say, speaking about devil, when I was complaining about the white genocide, let's talk about these white racists in Europe. So they have like white racist music, they have different parties which are promoting the agenda of whites being endangered. You have politicians which are representing them. You have a logic which is following their philosophy, and of course everything is real to the extent. And then you have frequency which is simply tuning them to be like that. And then you have another frequency for radical Muslims, which is tuning them into the virtually tuning their minds with the will of the machine, which wants them to do that and that. And then you have music attached to that. You have a network of mosques, financing attached to that, and whole package. It's all really all inclusive. And I was like, how on earth people can ever go free if every single one of us is like so heavily hammered, if nothing but by the signal? It's not something you really hear. It's just you become aware how it's influencing your subconscious mind. It works through your subconscious mind, and it works through your subconscious mind while you're sleeping. Something what we take for granted, asleep, when you lose your consciousness, but you still have it, but you don't have a memory of it, and then something happens. Well, what happens is they're programming. They're programming and they're looshing of your energy. It's a farm and doesn't stop if you go to the astral dimension. It's how it is below, so above, so it is below, right? You know that symbol, if you can see it in my frame. And and then I remembered, I don't know when was the first time when I came across that. It was like ages ago. Some astral traveler noticed this grid around the planet Earth, which is preventing souls from leaving, that energy grid. And I was like, you know, that system is so efficient. And the reason why it's efficient is it's been like family business for millions of years. Millions of years, reptiles keep souls like us in the captivity. And of course that they know their business. No doubt about that. And the business is so perfectly set for them that it's a fail-proof. It really is. You're born without a memory, programming starts immediately, actually never ended. Everybody else drummed into submission. If somebody is like a little bit out of the picture like me, little illness here, little illness there, you're out of the image very quickly. You know, the pleasures of being targeted individual. And another thing which was like constantly suggested to me in meditation by them is that I live on a borrowed time, that I was supposed to die in March 2015, and everything beyond that point is my borrowed time I don't really, according them, really deserve on a planet. And I was like communicating, you know, like, why am I such a big deal? I mean, look at me, I have like after a year and a half 71, 2, 3 followers on YouTube, and most of them are, you know, fake avatars, only some silly picture and nothing on a profile. And then I got this intuitive message like, you are like that little stone, like little pebble in a boot. You're not much, but you're simply itching, 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 and if it's itching us, it's gonna be itching you. And this is your life, baby. Okay, so another thing is this whole channel started with the idea that if big number of people, big number enough, unites globally and simply starts to do one meditation at the same time, which would be pushing, virtually pushing evil off this planet, that might actually work. And till this moment I'm convinced that it will work. I'm convinced that if 100,000 of us, or 1 million, which is very small number comparing how many suckers live on this planet, if we really start doing this, that we will have result. So as long as I'm alive, as long as this channel is alive, I'm sure that somebody will pick this idea and continue it. If it's not happen, if this is not to happen in my lifetime, and until I'm alive, I hope it will, because it's all about the synergy. Me alone, I'm like one unit. Two guys like me, it's already stronger than two people. It's already three people, four. Now imagine 10,000 of us. This is not 10,000 isolated units, which is this is like 10,000 units which are incredibly reinforcing each other. We have maybe a strength of 100,000 or even more. So this effect of synergy is what I'm counting on. I'm counting on not on our strength in meditation, like measured by the physical strength. I'm counting on us as a conductor of the all existing prana, And this is our power. We can very easily manipulate prana consciously. I was using this technique when attacked by the group bad energy waves when I was meditating. And example is Taweng. If you remember, in Taweng, I was living under the house, typical 12-pillar house in Cambodia. And until I put all these curtains, and it took me like 6 months to put all this, how many of them? 6, 7 curtains. Each one was like $10. Normally, I'm talking about these big sleeping bags. I was using them to block view. And in first couple of months, I was visually exposed to the group of teenagers which was living in a street across of mine. And of course they had teenage guests. Sometimes it would be 10, 12 teenagers there. And most of the time they were quite unpleasant. Racist moments, cow, pa, cow, and so on. So when I was meditating, and then they would start with these, waves of bad energy, just hitting you, and shouting and hitting you. At one point, I just noticed a little prana they have, and I just started to pull it back to me. I said, "This is my prana. You snatched it out of me using this, basically black magic. Because when you send somebody bad vibes, when you're cursing somebody, that's black magic, right?" I started to pull prana back, and immediately they would shut up. They would go into the down mode. No, I was simply pulling prana back to me. I was calling prana virtually, you are me, I am you, you don't where do we want to be? You want to feed them or you want to feed me? You want to be with me or with them? And prana would come to me. And then I figured it out. Wow, if this is not power or something new, then what is it? It's really working. And this is the defense I'm suggesting you. We are not their kind. We are not strong in attack. Evil is strong in attack. We are strong in defense. However, this is very strong defense. Pulling prana back to you. Right? Because it's us. It's just a fuel for, in their hands, it's just a fuel for evil, right? So, that's it. Okay. I always feel that I have some more things to say, and I'm just gonna share now another unpleasant private thing. Mango is gone. He was gone since December 12th. Shortly before he was gone, he had an eye infection, and I bought this cream for him. And then one day he walked out and he never returned. With him, more time was passing, more I miss him. And this is why I didn't want to talk about it at all. Now I can after a few months. He was a person. Mango was a person. At the beginning he was a kitten, then a cat, then a pet, then he became a person. There was one distinctive moment when I started to respect him, and this was in Taweng. Pack of dogs invaded our garden, our area around the house. Mango noticed it. He gave me a hint. I immediately went after them, and he followed me behind me. He was watching my back, and we had a fight with them. I don't know. I think I threw a hammer or something, and he hit a dog in the nose, and I respected that big time. Not many people gonna back you up if you go to fight against dogs. Most of the people are pussies. They would say, "Ah, please, no, stop." Yeah. Mango didn't give a shit. He followed me, and that's what I like about him. He was a cat you can count on, and I would leave him in Taweng 2, 3, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes a week. I would come back. He was alive. He was survivor. He was cleaning my house from cockroaches, mice. He was a good friend. He was easy on purring, very lovable, also tough, sometimes annoying when hungry, but yeah, Mango is gone. Okay, that's it. If you have some questions, please ask me. And although I didn't make really kind of friendly contact with the people on the YouTube this way, I didn't really make friendships. But I met more people who understand me than I anticipated, and I had less troll attacks than I was anticipating. So it was overall more positive experience than I thought it gonna be. And I'm glad that this YouTube channel exists, and I'm glad that you are there. People who I don't know, most of you are hidden behind some avatars. But frankly, what are you hiding from? What are you hiding from? System knows who you are. You're maybe protecting yourself from public scrutiny, but there is not much really public scrutiny. Um, Even if you are talking about something like very crazy, as I'm talking about here, crazy, you know, and, that Illuminati can read your thoughts and blah. People accept that. People around you, which know you, say, "Okay, you have a cool blog. That's it." It's not that big deal, really. Okay, that was update from me, and check this out. You know these guys, the Syrian overlords before reptilian overlords. They had these skulls like that. This is a typical human Homo sapiens skull. This one here, and this is Egyptian skull. I think Nefertiti had she had a skull like that, and this is one of the Incas, you know. So evidence, all around us. Depends on the filter. Now we're coming back to the eyes, right? Yeah, they don't like seers, you know. They don't like that. Okay, I will finish this with. I'm sure that one day we're gonna be free. Good thing when you are soul, you never die. Bad thing is you are a valuable commodity for milking. So they are milking us on this farm planet. But one day, and maybe that day will come 10,000 years from now on, maybe 10 billion years, maybe 100 billion years, maybe 20,000 billion years from now. One day we're gonna be free. We're gonna be free, and we're gonna have our vacation we deserve. Real vacation, not that reptilian vacation when they catch your soul with UFO and put you in a cylinder, and from time to time they release you with other souls into club. Now sanitized, of course, without your earthly memories or any other memories. You're recharging yourself, and it's better. life than this one here. Not talking about that fake vacation, I'm talking about being away from the farm. Maybe in this universe there are good forces which really give a shit. Hey, anything is possible, right? So including the good guys, I'm sure that they are here, and eventually they might actually do something for us. But until that moment, be grateful for little things you have, and carry on. Thank you for watching, and good luck to you.